Okay, hello everyone. My name is Huda and I'll be your teacher for today. Today's topic in this first episode is what makes visual art? Atau dalam bahasa Melayu, seni diperbuat daripada apa? Dalam video ini, kita akan meneliti 3 perkara. Alright, the 3 things that we will look at is, number 1, know the elements of art. Okay, dengan mengenali unsur-unsur seni itu sangat penting. Dan yang kedua, praktikkan ilmu baru. Once we've learned something new, it's only fair that we apply the knowledge so that we can remember it for future use. And the last one is to familiarize yourself. Okay, kalau kita dapat biasakan diri dengan apa itu unsur-unsur seni, tentunya kita dapat melihat dia dalam apa-apa jua kerja seni visual dan tidak asinglah lagi konsep unsur-unsur seni ni. Alright, the elements of art is something that is so basic and fundamental towards knowing the types of art. So we'll be looking at 6 different types of visual elements. Alright, 6 different types of art. And then I'll show you ways to apply the knowledge. And finally, we will familiarize ourselves with some exercises you can try at home. How do you know the elements of art? Okay, just to include some ASMR sounds for all of you. How do we know the elements of art? So there are so many types of ways of going into, what an artwork is made of. So if we follow what is in the learning curriculum in Malaysia, to know the elements of art, we have to always start with the first thing, which is lines. Atau lebih dikenali dalam bahasa Melayu sebagai garisan. Dalam bahasa Melayu ada satu konsep yang dikatakan titik-titik bersambung menjadi garisan. So konsep tu adalah di mana kalau kita boleh melukis satu titik pun, maksudnya kita boleh melukis 2 titik dan sambungnya menjadi satu garisan. Tapi garisan tak terikat kepada bentuk yang sebegini. Lines, there are so many types of lines. For example, there are straight lines, right? If I would draw here, there are straight lines, there are zigzag lines, there are lines that are dashed. Okay, garisan yang berlingkar, garisan yang tebal, garisan yang nipis. Apa lagi? Macam-macam lah, garisan ombak. Kalau kita nak reka garisan ni, boleh ya. Sebab yang penting, it has to make sense. Yang penting garisan tu, mestilah satu garisan yang kita nampak. Biasanya kita nampak garisan di alam sekeliling kita. Okay, biasanya kita nampak garisan yang kita doodle atau kita lukis sewaktu kita saja-saja. Okay, so garisan ni memang pelbagai. And to know that these lines exist is enough to know that lines is the first element of art. What happens when we put lines together? Kita boleh membentuk satu jalinan. Jalinan kat sini, dia lebih kurang macam, jalinan, persahabatan, okay, jalinan silaturahim. So, in English, it's called texture. So, kalau kita nak lukis, katakan satu meja yang diperbuat daripada kayu. Kalau kita melukis kayu, kita mestilah nak melukis ira-ira kayu yang ada di sana. Dan inilah yang disebut sebagai jalinan. Tanpa garisan-garisan ni, kita mungkin tak tahu yang kita nak lukis ni sekeping kayu. Hanya dengan garisan tersebut, kita dapat tahu yang, kayu rupanya. Alright, so yeah, to draw wood, we would need these kind of lines. If we don't have these lines, if we don't have this texture, we wouldn't tell that it's wood. Alright, so what happens when we have lines? We can draw something. What happens if we have many lines? We have texture. And that brings us to the third thing as well. When we have a line that continues, and connects to the point that it started, we have a form. Okay, dalam bahasa Melayu kita sebut sebagai rupa. So a form is defined as something that starts and ends where it began. Okay, maksudnya rupa hanya akan berlaku jika kita bermula daripada satu tempat dan kita bersambung dan kita kembali kepada tempat tu. Alright, so rupa kita akan nampak, yang ni mungkin bentuk dia macam bulat, nampak macam guli, nampak macam apa-apalah. Okay, yang ni bentuk yang organik. Mungkin nampak macam daun. Okay, dan exactly itulah apabila kita ada satu rupa, rupa ni boleh membawa kepada yang keempat, iaitu bentuk. Yes. So, kalau katakan kita ada rupa yang segi empat. Okay, lepas tu, kita tahu ni segi empat. Dan kita tambah lagi beberapa garisan, kita akan mendapat satu cube. Dan inilah yang dimaksudkan dengan bentuk. So, a lot of artworks are made up of these 4 elements. There are 2 more. Can you guess what the 2 more are? Alright, let's think about it. Now that we have all these 4 things, there must be another level of understanding of what artworks can be made of or can be made from. Okay, imagine if we have this piece of object and it is on a table, let's say, alright? And that table would be in a space, right? It'll be in a room. And this will bring the idea of shadows. You know, we need to have some shadows to show some depth. We need to know where is the shade, where is the shadows, right? So this is what we call as the 5th element, space. Okay, hanya dengan mengenal pasti ruangnya di mana cahaya datangnya daripada mana, barulah kita dapat tahu bahawa ruang tu sangat penting dalam satu lukisan. Alright, so yeah, if you've guessed that right, good for you. If you haven't, there is still one more element that I haven't mentioned. Can you take a wild guess what it is? It's actually what I've showed you from the beginning, all this on the side. Dia adalah warna. Okay, warna merupakan satu unsur seni, tapi agak susah kalau kita nak kaitkan dengan yang lain. Maksudnya, tanpa warna, kelima-lima unsur ni masih boleh berdiri. Kalau kita ada pen warna hitam sekalipun dan kita boleh melukis segala-galanya, masih seni. Tapi kalau kita ada unsur yang baru, iaitu warna, dia akan membuat lukisan kita lebih menarik dan lebih bagus dari segi satu aspek yang berbeza. Right? So color is a very important element of art. Without colors, a piece of a drawing can be very different. And it can be for the better or for the worse, right? There's no right or wrong here. Okay, and if we arrange all these elements together, let's see if we can remember them in a certain way. Okay? The way I would like to remember them is like this. The way I remember things, starting with lines, that's number 1. And after lines, we definitely have some texture. And after that, texture can have some form, and form will give us some shape. And all these shapes have to sit somewhere, so they are definitely in a space. And even though these are 5, yes, we make way for one more, which is color. Alright? Did you get that? Of course, it's easy for me to say. People say, because you're a teacher, you know everything. No, false. Teachers don't know everything. Teachers merely prepare for the class, and therefore, we know how to explain it to you guys. But we can remember all this if we put things in a storyline. Okay, so this is a method of memorizing, and I know in the Malaysian education system, we have to memorize a lot of things. So if we can put things in a storyline, how would it be? Alright, so if we start with dots, and the dots will continue to become a line, and when the line continues, that's what we call as a form. And once the form connects, starts somewhere and ends somewhere, it gives us a shape in 3D perhaps. And then imagine this on a piece of table, and that would symbolize space. And now imagine that the table is colored. And there you have it. That is the elements of art. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? Let me repeat, alright? It's like, teacher, you're going too fast. Can we start all over again? Okay, let's start all over again. Okay, let's start all over again. Kita mula dengan beberapa titik. Dan bila kita sambungkan titik tersebut, kita dapat garisan. Garisan yang bersambung atau garisan yang pelbagai dapat memberi kita satu jenis jalinan. Okey, dan garisan juga apabila dia bermula dan berakhir pada tempat dia mula, kita panggil dia sebagai rupa. Dan bila garisan tersebut dilukis dengan satu cara yang kita biasa, kita tahu ini adalah sejenis bentuk yang kita kenal. Alright? Dan lepas tu, bentuk ni terletak di atas satu meja. Bila di dalam satu ruang yang ada meja, semestilah kita teringat ruang yang sangat penting. Dan sekarang meja tu warna putih je ke? Baik. Kita warnakanlah warna hitam sekali. Dan inilah yang kita panggil sebagai warna. Dan itu dia. Semua unsur-unsur seni yang kita perlu ingat. Senang bukan? Harap-harap senanglah. Harap-harap masing-masing boleh tangkap. Alright. Alright, so jika kita dah faham apa itu unsur seni, kita datang kepada fasa atau perkara yang kedua, iaitu mempraktikkan ilmu baru. In order to apply the knowledge that we've just learned, we would have to think. How can we do that? Alright. So, number 2, how do we apply the knowledge? In order to apply the knowledge, we would have to keep on using the words that we just learned. Keep on reminding each other that these are very much the language of visual art. Okay? We have to know that visual art comes with a certain kind of language. Alright, ada seni bahasa. Dan dalam bahasa tu, ada juga bahasa untuk seni. Boleh tangkap? Alright, so bila kita keluar dan kita jalan dan kita nampak sesuatu objek, okay, pensel ni. Kita kena tengok dan kita kena fikir, wow, cantiknya pensel ni. Kenapa pensel ni cantik? Mungkin sebab warnanya yang satu. Dia tak ada warna-warna lain di mana banyak pensel ada kan. Banyak pensel lain ada pakai cat kan. Ada pakai baju dia sendiri, ada cat dia kat sini. Dan dia nampak sangat biasa. Tapi pensel ni tak ada apa-apa warna. Dan mungkin itu yang menyebabkan pensel ini nampak unik dan nampak cantik. Okey, ini satu cara kita nak praktikkan ilmu baru. Kita gunakan bahasa seni yang kita tahu. Okey, jom kita cuba lagi sekali. Kalau kita nampak ada satu hasil karya, jeng jeng jeng, kawan kita atau adik kita yang cat, okey, satu batu macam ni. Apa yang boleh dikatakan tentang batu ni? Okey, kita boleh kata yang alright, dia ada warna yang apa tentang warna tu? Warna tu yang sangat menarik. Okey, dia ada warna biru, warna merah, warna kuning. Bila kita nampak sekaligusnya, warna ni kelihatan sangat kontra atau sangat tegas. Okey, dan jelas kita nampak yang ini adalah corak baru di atas satu keping batu. Dan apa lagi? Batu ini kalau dia terdiri macam tu, nampak? Kita akan nampak satu shadow dekat bawah ni. Kenapa ada shadow tersebut? Sebab batu ni terletak dalam satu ruang yang benar. Maksudnya dia bukan batu, dia bukan alam maya. Dia bukan batu yang dilukis. Dia adalah batu sebenar yang kita boleh pegang, kita boleh rasa jalinan dia. Okey, ni jalinan dia macam mana? Tekstur dia tak ada garisan, dia sangat rata dan sangat smooth. It's a very smooth texture. Okay, so semua jenis karya boleh dikupas menggunakan bahasa seni yang kita tahu. Alright, apa lagi? Kalau ada orang tanya tentang bentuk dia. Bentuk apa ni? Bentuk bujur. Bujur pun jadilah. Okay, dia bujur je ke? Adakah dia tebal? Adakah dia nipis? Dia nampak seperti selipar. Macam boleh berjalan. Okay, semua tu adalah kreativiti kita dalam nak mengupas apa yang ada dalam hasil karya tersebut. Okey, ni hasil karya biasa je. Katakan kita tukar hasil karyanya, kita guna satu karya craft. Okey, ini adalah craft yang dianyam dengan tangan. Okey, ada zip dekat atas, dijahit mungkin dengan tangan juga. Okey, dan kalau kita nampak karya tersebut, kita dapat rasa dia macam sangat dia dibuat dengan baik, kualiti dia bagus. Barulah kita boleh memberi ulasan-ulasan yang berkaitan menggunakan bahasa seni. Alright, so the elements of art would exist in objects or even a painting. The next time you see a piece of art, ask yourself, what can I say about this painting? How can I practice what I've just learned about the elements of art? Alright, okay, let's move on to our third segment, which is... The third segment is about familiarizing yourself. Macam mana kita nak biasakan diri dengan benda yang baru ni? Kita baru je praktikkan ilmu tadi, kita gunakan bahasa seni. Tapi apa cara kita nak biasakan diri? One way is to actually make something. Okay? Bila kita sebut saja, dia hanya akan berada dalam memori kita untuk sehari atau dua. Tapi kalau kita membuat sesuatu, kalau kita mencipta sesuatu, if we make something, what we just learned will remain with us for a very long time. So, come on guys, those of you watching this video, please, let's make something in order to remember the elements of art. Okay, so take this as an art assignment of sort. If you have a certain nickname or a certain way of writing your name, let's start with that. If my name is Huda, okay, but people call me Cikgu. So I will write the word Cikgu in block letters. Okay, keep it big because we're going to fill up the inside of this word. Okay, and you can do this in your sketchbook. If you call yourself an art student, a sketchbook has to be your best friend because it has to follow you wherever you go. For when ideas come in, immediately write them down before they go away. Okay, so write down your name and you can make it block letters if you want. Okay, this is one way to make block letters, to make it more than just pieces of lines, more than just bentuk, rupa, or just a form of alphabets. You can add these lines on the side. Make sure your lines are the same way. Okay, if it's going this way, keep to that way. If it's the other way, keep to the other way. And this is how you make it 3D. Simple, isn't it? But it also comes with practice. I've seen some people do this technique and they always get confused into which way should it be again? Okay, so yeah, keep going. And I think drawing things in 3D requires a lot of imagination. Alright, so we have that going now. I see, this is not very good. It's not a true 3D form, but it's okay. It's okay for now. And what we can do is we fill up the insides using the lines that we know, okay? Using lines that we are familiar with or lines that we see around us. So if I fill this up like this, I know this is what we call as a radial lines. Okay, and if I write down what they're made of, okay, radial lines. I want to color in different parts of it, so we call this as stripes. Okay, and the next one we can fill up with even more lines. Like I like plants, so I'll put like leaves. And basically you can fill up your name with the things that you like. Okay, I like nature, so I'm gonna put that here, and maybe in the next one I'll draw lines of the ocean. And once I've finished with this drawing does take some time. You gotta give yourself that time to do it. Sit down, clear your mind, and just continue doing. It doesn't matter if your drawings are not nice. It's what is there is your piece of work, and be proud of it. Okay, nice or not nice is subjective, but I think every piece of work that we do with our hands is something unique to us. Okay, so jangan putus harapan. Teruskan dengan melukis. Drawing takes practice, and if we are practicing all the time, inshallah, we'll be better at drawing. Okay, this is actually, this curved lines reminds me of fishes and how they have all the different, their fins, right? The lines that are on fish bodies. Sisi-sisi ikan. Okay, I like looking at small details on things. And so I try to copy what I see in nature. Okay, so that's one piece of work that we can do. This is a pretty small artwork. What I want you to do is make it as big as you want. If it's on your book, if it's anywhere at all, do it until it's done, until you're happy with it, and perhaps you can share it with me. Okay? You can upload it on Instagram, or you can email it to me, put it in the comment section. Okay? And you can tag me. You can find me on Instagram as Art by Cikgu Huda. And if you use the hashtag. So, dear teachers, once your students have already finished their artwork, don't forget to give them some encouragement, tell them what they can improve on their drawing, and how to move further from here. Okay, as a student, I think when they finish their drawing, it's already something worthy of an accomplishment, that it's worthy of a good job. Give them a high five. And I think if you want to go into more details, you can always ask them, why? Why did you choose such radial lines? If there is a story behind it, that's even better. Okay? And like, for example, if I say that, oh, I don't know why it's radial lines, then you can remind them and say, what does it look like to you? If it looks like a sun, or it looks like keys on the keyboard, you know, it can be anything. But what's important is to celebrate your students' imagination, and that would bring them very far. All right? And so also, if you're teaching, it doesn't matter what grade you're teaching, but this exercise can be replicated for many different levels. For kids who are younger, having them to write out their name is already hard, so you can just focus on one letter, get them to write out their letter. But if they are older kids, and even at university, you can challenge them to do maybe a 3D rendering of it, have them to do it online, have them to use different softwares and different mediums and materials. Yeah? Speaking of materials, today I've used color pencils. These are color pencils that you can get anywhere. And who knows if there's any specific way of using the color pencil that you want me to explore in these videos, feel free to drop the suggestions in the comment box below. Let's go through what we've learned in today's episode. Number 1, in order to answer the question, what makes visual art? Ataupun seni diperbuat daripada apa? Kita mesti mengenal unsur-unsur seni. Then, I hope everyone will remember the 6 different types of elements. There are more, if we want to talk about it, there are definitely more. But to keep it at a level, a school level, I think 6 is enough for now. And then we went into applying the knowledge, and how do we apply the knowledge by using the language. Menggunakan bahasa seni, kita dapat mempraktikkan ilmu-ilmu baru yang kita baru belajar. Okay, dan yang ketiga, in order to familiarize ourselves, dengan cara nak membiasakan diri menggunakan unsur-unsur seni, kita mesti membuat sesuatu, mencipta sesuatu dan menyerlahkan kreativiti masing-masing. Dengan cara ini, harap-harap kita dapat membuat lebih seni dan kita dapat menghayati dengan lebih lagi tentang seni. With that, thank you so much. This has been a good class and I hope you enjoy. Remember to keep your distance with everyone and have a good evening. All right, bye. Thank you for all those that has been helpful in the production of this video. Until the next episode, stay creative and keep making art.